The azure rings of Serenity Prime cast shimmering light across the Grand Council chamber, where High Speaker Area watched the holographic display with growing dread. Her translucent features, delicate as morning frost, reflected the approaching doom of her people. The Crimson Scourge, a notorious band of space pirates, had systematically stripped 3 neighboring systems bare. Now their massive fleet approached Serenity Prime, home to the peaceful, serene civilization. They will breach our outer defense grid in 6 cycles, announced Defense Coordinator Lyre, his bioluminescent markings pulsing with anxiety. The assembled council members' own markings flickered in response, casting subtle patterns of fear across the chamber's pearl-white walls. The Serene had evolved on a world of perpetual twilight, their bodies adapted to harvest the gentle radiance of their dim sun. Over millennia, they had developed remarkable technologies based on light manipulation and quantum mechanics. Their cities were marvels of crystalline architecture that captured and channeled energy with incredible efficiency, but they had never needed to develop weapons of war. Our defensive capabilities are insufficient, Lyre continued, his voice barely above a whisper. The pirates have over 300 vessels, each armed with enough firepower to shatter our crystalline cities. Our entire defense fleet consists of 40 ships, designed for scientific exploration rather than combat. High Speaker Area closed her inner eyelids, processing this information. The Serene were known throughout the galaxy for their mastery of light-based technology and their contributions to medical science. Their ability to manipulate photons at the quantum level had revolutionized healing techniques across known space, but that same gentle nature that made them such gifted healers had left them vulnerable to those who saw their technological achievements as prizes to be plundered. There might be another option, said Council Elder Nova, her age evident in the slow pulse of her bioluminescence. All eyes turned to her as she activated a different holographic display. 3 stellar cycles ago, our deep space sensors detected a new spacefaring species. We avoided contact because their homeworld terrified us. We classified them as Deathworlders. The chamber erupted in discordant pulses of light as the council members reacted to this revelation. The hologram showed a planet that seemed to actively try to kill its inhabitants. Massive storms, active volcanoes, aggressive predators, and most shocking of all, a gravity nearly twice that of Serenity Prime. Humans, Nova said, the word sending ripples of unease through the chamber. They evolved on a world we would consider uninhabitable. Their bodies are dense with muscle and reinforced bone. They can survive radiation levels that would kill us instantly. Their immune systems fight off microorganisms that would devastate our population. By our standards, they are virtually indestructible. And you suggest we contact these creatures? Asked Lyre, his markings showing clear distress. They sound as dangerous as the pirates. More dangerous, Nova corrected, but with one crucial difference. She adjusted the hologram to show intercepted transmissions from human space. The humans have consistently offered aid to civilizations in distress. They've established multiple defense pacts with smaller species. While their physical capabilities terrify us, their actions suggest a strong protective instinct toward those they consider allies. High Speaker Area studied the data scrolling past. Human ships were built to withstand conditions that would tear a Serene vessel apart. Their weapons were designed to destroy rather than disable. Their soldiers trained in environments that would kill a Serene instantly. Everything about them seemed to scream danger. But Nova was right. Every documented interaction showed humans using their incredible durability and strength to defend others. They were monsters, yes, but monsters with a moral code. The pirates will show no mercy, Area said finally, her markings pulsing with resolution. They will strip our world bare and enslave our people. We can either face certain destruction alone, or we can ask these Deathworlders for help. She straightened in her hover chair, her decision made. Initialize the quantum beacon. Send a message to Earth. Tell them we need their help. As the quantum beacon powered up, its energy rippling through the crystalline spires of the city. Arya couldn't help but wonder what these humans would be like in person. They were about to invite predators into their midst, hoping these particular monsters would prove to be guardians rather than destroyers. The message fired out into space, racing toward Earth at speeds that defied conventional physics. For the first time in their history, the Serene had asked for military aid. They had called upon the Deathworlders, hoping that the strength that terrified them might become their salvation. Fleet Admiral Sarah Chen was reviewing maintenance reports in her office aboard the UES Hyperion when the quantum transmission arrived. The message was brief but clear. A civilization called the Serene requested immediate military aid against an approaching pirate fleet. They had specifically invoked humanity's growing reputation as protectors of peaceful species. Chen didn't hesitate. Within minutes, she had initiated fleet-wide combat protocols and was addressing the assembled captains via holographic conference. "Ladies and gentlemen, we have a situation. The Serene civilization has requested our help. They're facing imminent attack from a large pirate force known as the Crimson Scourge." Captain Marcus Rodriguez of the heavy cruiser Thunderchild raised an eyebrow. "The Serene? Aren't they the ones who developed those revolutionary photonic healing systems?" "Correct," Chen replied, bringing up a holographic display of Serenity Prime. "They're peaceful, technologically advanced, but virtually defenseless against aggressive forces. Their entire civilization is at risk." "What's our response window?" asked Captain Yuki Tanaka from the carrier Stormbreaker. "The pirates will reach their system in 6 cycles, approximately 72 hours Earth time. We can gather 25 ships within that time frame." Chen's eyes hardened. It won't be easy. The pirates have over 300 vessels. The assembled captains exchanged grins. "Sounds like fun," Rodriguez said. "When do we leave?" "Immediate deployment. Set course for Serenity Prime." As the human fleet prepared for faster-than-light travel, the Serene Council was about to experience their first direct contact with humans. A diplomatic shuttle was dispatched ahead of the main fleet to establish initial communications. Ambassador David Patel stepped out of the shuttle onto the crystalline landing pad, accompanied by Commander Elena Santos and a small security detail. The assembled Serene gasped collectively at their first sight of humans in person. Where their own bodies were nearly transparent and moved with ethereal grace, the humans appeared solid, dense, and moved with what seemed like impossible speed and strength in the low gravity. High Speaker Arya approached cautiously, her bioluminescent patterns showing a complex mix of fear and hope. "Welcome to Serenity Prime," she said through the translation matrix. We are grateful for your swift response." Patel bowed slightly, careful to move slowly to avoid startling their hosts. "Thank you for your welcome, High Speaker. We're here to help." He gestured to Commander Santos. "Our fleet will arrive within 12 hours. In the meantime, Commander Santos would like to coordinate with your defense forces." The briefing that followed was an exercise in cultural shock for both species. The Serene were horrified to learn that what humans considered normal operating conditions would kill their people instantly. The humans, in turn, had to constantly remind themselves that their hosts were far more physically fragile than they appeared. "Your ships operate at how many Gs during combat maneuvers?" Defense Coordinator Lyre asked, his markings pulsing with disbelief. "Standard combat operations run between 3 and 5 Gs," Santos explained, then quickly added, "But we'll adjust our tactical plans to protect your cities from the gravitational stress of close-quarters combat." The real shock came when the Serene showed them their defensive capabilities. "These are remarkable," Santos said, examining the quantum light-wave technology. "Your sensor systems are far more advanced than ours. The resolution is incredible. But they're not weapons," Lyre said softly. "We never developed them for combat." Santos smiled. "No, but they might be exactly what we need. Your sensor technology combined with our combat capabilities could give us a significant advantage." As they discussed strategy, more cultural differences emerged. The humans' casual consumption of what the Serene considered toxic substances caused considerable alarm. Their physical movements, which seemed impossibly fast and powerful in the lower gravity, made their hosts nervous. But gradually, as the hours passed, fear began to give way to fascination. "Your bodies are amazing," said a serene medical researcher, examining readings from a human volunteer. "Your cellular repair mechanisms, your reinforced skeletal structure, your ability to process toxins. With your permission, we would very much like to study your biology." Meanwhile, aboard the approaching human fleet, Admiral Chen was finalizing battle plans. The Hyperion's bridge hummed with activity as tactical officers analyzed the sensor data provided by the Serene. "Their quantum scanning technology is revolutionary," Lieutenant Wang reported. "We can see details of ship systems we've never been able to detect before. If we integrate this with our targeting systems, we can hit them where it hurts," Chen finished. "How are the crews handling the gravity adjustment?" "Some complaints about it being too light," Wang chuckled. "Marines are already organizing training sessions to adapt to the low-G combat." Chen nodded, reviewing the tactical displays. The pirates significantly outnumbered them, but they had several advantages: superior technology, better trained crews, and ships built to withstand conditions that would tear most vessels apart. Most importantly, they had something worth fighting for: the protection of a peaceful civilization that had asked for their help. "All ships report ready," Wang announced. "Fleet is maintaining formation at 0.5 Gs for serene compatibility." "Good. Send word to the surface. Tell them their guardians have arrived." The human fleet dropped out of FTL on the outskirts of the Serenity system, their ships moving into defensive positions around the crystalline world. From the surface, the Serene watched in awe as vessels they had once feared as tools of destruction now positioned themselves as a shield between their world and approaching doom. The monsters had arrived, but they had come as protectors. Now they would show the galaxy exactly why Deathworlders made the most formidable guardians of all. The Crimson Scourge fleet emerged from hyperspace like a swarm of hungry predators, their ships' blood-red hulls reflecting the light of Serenity Prime's twin stars. Captain Riker of the pirate flagship Merciless surveyed the defending forces and laughed. 25 ships against his fleet of 300. This would be even easier than he'd anticipated. His laughter died when the sensor readings came in. "What kind of ships are those?" he demanded, staring at the readings. The vessels protecting Serenity Prime were unlike anything he'd encountered, heavily armored, with power readings that seemed impossible for their size. Aboard the UES Hyperion, Admiral Chen watched the pirate fleet's approach on displays enhanced by Serene sensor technology. "All ships, battle formation Delta," she ordered. "Remember, we're fighting above a crystalline city. Watch your gravitational wake." The human fleet moved with precision that belied their ship's massive bulk. Crews trained in Earth-normal gravity found the reduced gravitational stress almost relaxing as they maneuvered into position. "Enemy fleet launching fighters," Lieutenant Wang reported, "counting over 1,000 small craft." Chen smiled. "Launch our own fighters. Let's show them what Earth-trained pilots can do." The space between the fleets erupted in chaos as fighters engaged. The pirates quickly discovered that their usual tactics were worse than useless against human pilots. Operating in conditions that would kill most species, Earth's pilots pulled maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. "Impossible!" the pirate wing commander screamed as a human fighter pulled a 20G turn, its pilot conscious and fighting while the pirate's own crew struggled to remain conscious at half that force. "What are these demons?" On the surface, the Serene Council watched the battle through their quantum sensors. "Look at how they move," High Speaker Area whispered, her patterns showing awe. "Their bodies should be failing under such stress, but they're thriving." The pirates, realizing their fighter advantage was neutralized, moved to their next strategy. "Launch boarding pods," Captain Riker ordered. "If we can't beat their ships, we'll take them from the inside." It was exactly what Chen had been waiting for. "All ships, execute Maneuver Thunderstorm," she commanded. The human fleet split into smaller groups, creating a complex web of crossfire zones. When the boarding pods launched, they found themselves flying into carefully planned killing fields. But some pods got through, particularly to the smaller human vessels. The pirates celebrated briefly, thinking they'd found a weakness, until they encountered their first human Marines in close combat. Aboard the frigate Stalwart, Marine Sergeant Maria Santos led her squad against boarders in the engine section. The pirates, used to fighting softer species, were completely unprepared for close-quarters combat with humans. "They're not wearing powered armor," one pirate reported in disbelief, watching a human Marine lift and throw a cargo container that would normally require mechanical assistance. "How are they this strong?" "We evolved on a death world," Santos replied, her voice calm despite the intense combat. "This is nothing compared to basic training." The pirates found themselves facing opponents who could outrun them, outfight them, and seemed almost impossible to injure permanently. Wounds that would incapacitate most species barely slowed the humans down. Their natural endurance, combined with the Serene's advanced medical technology, made them nearly unstoppable. In space, the battle was turning decisively. The human ships, while fewer in number, were proving incredibly difficult to damage. Their armor, designed to withstand the crushing pressures and intense radiation of Earth, shrugged off weapons that would cripple most vessels. "Hull integrity at 92%, reported the Hyperion's damage control officer after taking a direct hit. "Minor damage to outer plating only." The pirates' confidence began to crumble as they realized their usual advantages meant nothing against these opponents. Their superior numbers were being negated by the humans' superior technology and incredible physical capabilities. Captain Riker watched in growing horror as his fleet's formation began to break apart. The humans weren't just beating them. They were systematically destroying his best ships while taking minimal damage in return. The Serene's sensor technology, integrated into the human targeting systems, allowed them to hit vital systems with uncanny accuracy. "Fall back to position Beta," he ordered, trying to regroup his forces, concentrate fire on their flagship. Admiral Chen watched the pirates' desperate maneuver with satisfaction. "All ships, execute Operation Avalanche," she commanded. The human fleet moved in perfect coordination, their crews handling acceleration forces that would kill most species. On the surface, the Serene continued to monitor the battle, their fear turning to amazement. The beings they had once dreaded as monsters were fighting with incredible skill and precision to protect them. The humans weren't just powerful, they were using that power with careful control to avoid damage to the crystalline cities below. Their bodies may have evolved for violence, Council Elder Nova observed, her patterns showing wonder, but their spirits evolved for protection. As the battle reached its climax, the pirates attempted one final desperate gambit. They launched their remaining fighters in a suicide run at the crystalline cities, hoping to force the humans to choose between protecting their ships and saving the Serene. They had severely miscalculated. "All fighters, intercept those craft," Chen ordered immediately. "Cruiser Group, maintain pressure on their capital ships. We're ending this now." Human pilots pushed their craft beyond normal safety limits, their bodies handling stress that would have killed any other species, to intercept the attacking fighters. The Serene watched in awe as their protectors demonstrated why they were called Deathworlders, yet used that incredible power solely in defense. The battle was reaching its final stages, and the galaxy was about to learn an important lesson. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their powerful ships, enhanced bodies, or advanced weapons. It was their unwavering determination to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. Captain Riker stood on the bridge of the Merciless, watching his mighty fleet crumble before the human defenders. Half his ships were either destroyed or disabled, their crews facing opponents who seemed to ignore the basic laws of survival. His boarding parties had been repelled by unarmored creatures who fought with impossible strength. Even his fighters, pride of the Crimson Scourge, had been swatted aside by pilots who treated lethal G-forces as mere inconveniences. "Sir," his science officer reported, voice trembling, Analysis of the human vessels shows they're operating at energy levels that should be melting their crew's organs. Their ship's structural integrity shouldn't be possible under these stresses. Riker's face twisted in rage. There was one weapon left, one he'd sworn never to use after seeing its effects. "Open Vault 0, he commanded. "Prepare the Nightshade Protocol." Throughout the pirate fleet, black canisters were loaded into launch tubes. The biological weapon inside had been engineered to be especially lethal to advanced species. Its designer had boasted it could kill 100 different species in 100 different ways. Aboard the Hyperion, Lieutenant Wong's eyes widened as the serene sensors detected the new threat. "Admiral, they're deploying some kind of biological agent. The molecular structure. It's designed to attack multiple species simultaneously." Chen's expression hardened. "Warn all ships. Full containment protocols." She opened a channel to the surface. "High speaker, are your city's environmental seals active?" "Yes," Aria replied, her patterns showing terror. "But this agent, our sensors show it's particularly lethal to photosynthetic life forms like ourselves. Even a small breach could devastate our population." The black canisters burst throughout the battlefield, releasing clouds of shimmering death. The pirates watched eagerly, expecting to see the human ships start drifting as their crews succumbed to the weapon. Instead, they heard laughter over their comm channels. "Is that all?" Commander Santos's voice crackled through the frequencies. "Our immune systems deal with worse during flu season." The pirates stared in disbelief as human ships continued to maneuver through the deadly clouds without hesitation. Marine teams moved through contaminated areas of boarded vessels without environmental suits, their Earth-evolved immune systems treating the engineered plague as a minor inconvenience. "Their bodies are incredible," a serene medical researcher reported, monitoring the humans' biological responses. "They're not just resisting the weapon, they're actively destroying it. Their immune systems are attacking and breaking down the virus faster than it can replicate." In fact, the biological attack had only made the humans angry. "They tried to use a plague weapon on a civilian population," Chen said, her voice cold. "All ships, execute Operation Avalanche. Show them why you don't threaten civilians when humans are protecting them." The human fleet's response was devastating. Ships moved in perfect coordination, their crews ignoring stresses that would kill most species, while their targeting systems, enhanced by serene quantum technology, struck with surgical precision. On the surface, the Serene watched in awe through their sensors as human vessels pulled maneuvers that should have torn them apart. The deadly clouds of biological weapons dissipated harmlessly against human ships' hulls, broken down by countermeasures developed by a species that had spent its entire evolution fighting microscopic invaders. "Fascinating," Elder Nova observed, her patterns showing intense interest. "They evolved on a world so dangerous that even their smallest defenders, their immune cells, are more formidable than most species' warriors." The pirates' last gambit had failed spectacularly, and now they faced the full fury of humanity's response. Ships that had been fighting defensively to protect the crystalline cities below now moved to offensive positions. "All ships, form up on the Hyperion," Chen ordered. "Let's end this." The human fleet moved as one, their formation drawing upon both Earth naval traditions and the precise coordination made possible by serene sensor technology. The pirates found themselves caught in a web of crossfire, unable to predict attacks that came with impossible speed and accuracy. Captain Riker watched his fleet dying around him. The beings he had dismissed as mere Deathworlders weren't just surviving in conditions that should kill them. They were thriving, fighting with a coordination and effectiveness that seemed supernatural. "What are you?" he transmitted desperately to the human fleet. "We're humanity," Chen replied. "We evolved on a world that tries to kill us every day. We survived predators, plagues, and disasters that would devastate most species. And now we use that strength to protect others." The final phase of the battle began. Human ships, their crews operating at peak efficiency despite conditions that would incapacitate most species, executed maneuvers that seemed to defy physics. The Serene's quantum scanning technology, integrated into human targeting systems, allowed for strikes of unprecedented precision. The pirates' biological weapon had revealed humanity's greatest strength. They had evolved on a world so dangerous that even their basic biological functions were more robust than most species' technological defenses. What the pirates had intended as a devastating attack had instead demonstrated why humanity made such perfect guardians for gentler civilizations. The battle was approaching its end, and the galaxy was about to learn an important lesson. When humanity promised protection, not even engineered plagues or overwhelming numbers could stop them from keeping that promise. 1 month after the Battle of Serenity Prime, the crystalline spires of the serene capital gleamed under the twin stars. But the city had changed. Among the delicate, light-refracting towers now stood the sturdy form of the first human embassy, its reinforced architecture a striking contrast to the surrounding structures. Much like its inhabitants, High Speaker Area stood in the Grand Chamber, her bioluminescent patterns radiating confidence and hope as she addressed the assembled Serene and human representatives. Admiral Chen and Ambassador Patel sat nearby, their presence no longer causing ripples of fear among the Serene. 1 month ago, Area began, we called upon the Deathworlders in our darkest hour. We feared their strength, their resilience, their very nature. Today, we understand that the same evolutionary path that made humans so formidable also forged them into perfect guardians. In the days following the battle, the relationship between humans and the Serene had transformed dramatically. The Serene medical researchers were fascinated by human biology, studying how their robust bodies handled conditions that would kill most species. The humans, in turn, were amazed by the Serene's mastery of light and energy. Our research collaboration has yielded unprecedented results, Dr. Lena Martinez, head of the human medical team, reported. The Serene's photonic healing technology, combined with human tissue regeneration, has created treatment possibilities we never imagined. What would have been fatal injuries can now be healed in days. The military cooperation had proven equally fruitful. The integration of Serene sensor technology with human combat systems had revolutionized space warfare. More importantly, it had shown how two radically different species could complement each other perfectly. The pirates' defeat has changed the balance of power in this sector, Chen explained. 3 other peaceful species have already requested similar protection agreements. They want the combination of human strength and serene precision. The remnants of the Crimson Scourge had fled to the outer regions, spreading word of their defeat. The stories they told, of ships that ignored lethal stresses, of unarmored warriors who shrugged off deadly weapons, of beings who treated plagues as annoyances, had transformed humanity's reputation. They were still feared, but now that fear protected rather than isolated them. We've established a permanent defense fleet in the Serenity system, Ambassador Patel announced. In exchange, the Serene have agreed to share their medical and sensor technology. Together, we're stronger than either of us could be alone. In the city below, human Marines trained alongside Serene peacekeepers. The sight of the two species working together, one nearly transparent and graceful, the other solid and powerful, had become a symbol of their unprecedented alliance. The humans have taught us that strength doesn't have to mean violence, Elder Nova observed, watching a Marine gently assist a Serene engineer with heavy equipment. And we've taught them that precision doesn't have to mean fragility. The cooperation extended beyond military and medical fields. Human engineers were learning to incorporate Serene light manipulation technology into their ship designs, while Serene architects were studying how to strengthen their crystalline structures using human construction principles. The galaxy is changing, Chen said, standing with Area as they watched ships from both species patrol together. For too long, peaceful species lived in fear of those who would prey on them. We're showing them another way. A young Serene approached a group of human Marines, its patterns showing curiosity rather than fear. Is it true you can run for hours without stopping? The child asked. That your bones can support tons of weight. that you can survive in environments that would kill most species. Sergeant Santos knelt down, moving carefully to avoid frightening the child. It's true. We evolved on a world that challenged us at every turn. But do you know what that really means? The child's pattern swirled with interest. It means we're tough enough to protect those who need protection, strong enough to defend those who prefer peace to violence. In orbit, human and serene ships patrolled together, their crews learning from each other. The humans' natural adaptability helped them understand the Serene's complex sensor systems, while the Serene's precision enhanced the humans' already formidable combat capabilities. As the assembly concluded, Aria and Chen signed a formal alliance document. It was recorded both in the Serene's crystalline data matrix and on traditional human paper, a symbol of how their different approaches could work together. "Let the galaxy know," Aria declared, her patterns blazing with determination. "The Serene and humanity stand together. We offer healing and knowledge to those who come in peace, and unshakable protection against those who would harm the innocent." Chen nodded. "We spent our evolution learning to survive on a world that tried to kill us. Now we use that strength to ensure gentler species can pursue their own paths without fear." The news spread quickly through known space. Humanity had found its calling. They were no longer feared as unstoppable warriors. They were respected as unconquerable guardians. The Deathworlders had become protectors, and the galaxy was changing for the better. The monsters from Earth had proved to be heroes, and their alliance with the Serene showed that even the most different species could work together for the greater good. As night fell on Serenity Prime, the light of its twin stars reflected off both crystalline spires and human ships, a reminder that strength and gentleness could coexist in perfect harmony.